Peloton, let's go!
This holiday, with the right music and the right motivation from world-class instructors,
we're going to pick it up a notch. It's the holiday season.
You might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of. Work out to thousands of live and on-demand classes, from running to cycling to yoga. Try Peloton risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial. Peloton, motivation that moves you.
When Shopify says you can sell anywhere, they mean it. Woo, hold up. Just got a new sale. Order fulfilled and shipped. Inventory level's good. Whoa, Shopify doesn't mind if you're at sea level. Or on top of the world. You can run and grow your business anywhere. Climbing mountains is never easy, but at least Shopify gives me all the tools I need for my business to hit new peaks!
Whether you're selling carabiners or crop tops, start selling with Shopify today and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. We've built the platform so you can keep climbing and grow your business to new heights.
With Shopify, you really can sell to anyone, from anywhere.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Start selling online today. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/free22. 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 Internet connection required. Not available on mountaintops or seafloors.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 171st episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwoods, and I am the host of this lovely show. And joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. But, man, how you doing?
Merry Christmas season to everyone out there. Yes, I am that guy to start celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving, but, you know, Thanksgiving's dope. I love it. It's actually my second favorite holiday, so I'm not trying to skip over it. Got to get that grub in. But I am doing well. Had an excellent weekend. My Kansas City Chiefs, another comeback victory. Magic Mahomes is his name. I would just like to, the San Francisco game was kind of like that, but where we just, get the lead and hold it and it's over. But the most exciting news is, for all of you that don't know, I mention it often, I am a Florida State fan. And Florida State has two rivalries in college football, two legit rivalries. There are Florida and Miami. This week, my Florida State Seminoles, my beautiful, beautiful Seminoles, destroyed, dog-walked, spanked, mollywopped, any of the different terms you want to use, Miami. And for all of you that don't know anything about college football and completely ignore me, just ignore the next minute. But Miami had Florida State as their homecoming and had 90 recruits on the sideline to watch them get destroyed by Florida State. God, that was so good. It turned in a recruiting trip for us. We beat them so bad. Again, if you don't know anything about college sports, that means nothing to you. All you hear is wah, 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 wah. All you need to know is Florida State good, Miami bad, Florida State won. The good guys won, which is all that matters to me. So that was an excellent weekend. I sucked in fantasy football, went 0-2 in my money leagues this weekend, but honestly, that Florida State whooping, Kansas City could have got blown out, and I would have been okay. Because I have my favorite game in college football every year is Florida State versus Miami. That happened. Man, then I got to watch, after Florida State game, I watched the Crown Jewel. And, man, so really enjoyed Lesnar versus Lashley, big man slapping meat. And that was because there was 2 matches I wanted to see, that one and then Almost versus Braun. And you know what? I was planning to come on here and not spend too long, but kind of gush over Almost versus Braun. Because big man match, not expecting a lot. I thought they did a really good job telling the story they were going to tell. And then Braun Strowman gets on Twitter yesterday and just fucking ruins it.
I should expect nothing less from that man.
Dang it, dude. You had a good match. I felt like some people were about to jump back on the Strowman Express. And then he's just going to try to, bury all wrestling. I love a good big man match as much as the next person. But no wrestling is better than any other wrestling. Now, there's some wrestling I don't get. Not for me. That's fine. And then there's some wrestling, that I love, but that's not for other people. It's just so annoying when it's like, oh, let me rabble. And he was probably joking. But I always say, to me, certain tweets reek of lack of friends involved. Because I have some dumbass tweets that I'll send out, and I'll be talking to JR, and I'm like, I'm going to tweet this. And you know what JR will say? That's a dumbass tweet. And then I won't tweet it. So every time you think, man, nothing stupid's come out online, it's because JR has my back, because I have a friend. I feel like Ron needed a friend there to say, hey, man, you're not going to win with that tweet.
You know when else he needed a friend? He needed a friend when he decided to tweet about you indie wrestlers, just get work in the middle of a pandemic when he had a multi-million-dollar WWE deal at the time.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like when you let your guard down, you're like, man, I'm going to start liking Braun Strowman. And then he's like, you know what? You shouldn't hate me. And it's like, but you're a face. Now, if you were a heel, okay, get on there and say all the fucked up shit you want to because you want people to boo you. But right now, you want people to cheer you and buy your merch. So why would you put such a divisive tweet out there? I'm not arguing him thinking that. Think what you want. This is some things you shouldn't say. That was one of them. There was no win. What were you hoping to accomplish? Now, if he says, my whole goal was to piss everybody off, then guess what? I tip my hat to you because you even pissed your own coworker off to the point where Mustafa Ali is like, well, can you show me how to get fired? And I'm just like, damn, nigga came for the juggler. That dude came for the juggler. I'm just saying, if I had to go to work and that 6'8", 340-pound guy was there, I probably wouldn't have said that. I probably wouldn't have said it. I'm just saying, that's me. I'm all about preserving life, mine especially. And so I probably would not pick a fight with Braun Strowman. But hey, Mustafa Ali used to be a former cop. He probably taken down a few people. Probably not that big because, not a lot of people walking around that big. But, he's taking down some people bigger than him. Maybe he can hold his own. But, yeah, we'll see. But overall, just in a really joyous mood. I'm getting my Christmas list together. Santa Floyd's coming to town. Got some big plans. Y'all need to be watching my Twitter because got some big plans and stuff I'm doing for some people in my life. And I like to share those with the world because, you know what? Spread joy and love and all that good shit.
And meanwhile, since I know nobody truly cared about the Florida State comment, let's really talk about the thing that everyone cares about, which is that the Detroit Lions won a fucking football game. We beat the Packers. Baby Aaron Rodgers. Wah, wah, wah. My team sucks. No one can play the way I want them to play. My receivers drop a lot. Well, I mean, that is true, absolutely. But also, you don't hand the ball off to your best player in Aaron Jones. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fuck the Packers. Fuck Green Bay. Detroit got a win over that garbage team. And now, shockingly, we're only 2 games back of a wild card spot because the NFC is a train wreck. I am all aboard on the Lions fluking their way in here, even though my coach makes baffling 4th down decisions every day of the week. I don't care because I hate the Packers, and I'm very happy. All of my teams won this week, so I'm very happy. Michigan State, I know, I support both. I'm in the middle. I just want both teams to be good because I cover both, and my sister went to MSU, and I just want CMU to be the best, which will never happen. But and then the Red Wings and the Pistons won, so it was a great weekend for Detroit. Detroit versus everybody, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, the Detroit Lions, they're really average at football. I just saw a tweet.
They're not even average, dude. They're garbage.
I just saw a tweet, so I have to ask you. They put up Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4. Pick one. Which one you picking?
Rocky 2, Rocky 3, or Rocky 4?
Yeah.
Well, because here's the deal. I'm okay. This is going to probably be our longest intro because now you've brought up Rocky, and I have.
I know, and it's just really hard for you.
Let's be fair here right now, because because here's the deal. Rocky 1 is obviously the best out of all. I'm not counting the Creed franchise. I kind of consider that a little different, especially with the third one now.
Oh, it's a completely different franchise.
Yeah. But Rocky 1 is obviously the best. Rocky 2, about as good of a sequel as you could possibly do with a movie like Rocky, though the silliness of the double knockdown is still silly. But, I mean, that's kind of what became part of the franchise once 3 and 4 happened with Clubber Lang and Ivan Drago. I would have to say, for me personally, I think that with the combination of the music, the montages, just the overall spectacle, and like the memorable scenes, I got to go with fucking Rocky 4. It's just so crazy. That would be the one I keep out of all of them. I can only keep one. I'm going to keep Rocky 4 because, I mean, the things I can pull from that movie. The fucking dumbass robot that shouldn't be in the movie, but I am so happy that it's in the movie. Climbing up a mountain. The music by Survivor getting Burning Heart. Hearts on Fire. The best fucking song in any movie, No Easy Way Out. And that whole scene. We got Living in America from fucking dude. That whole scene with Apollo Creed and Drago just being so confused and just ready to kill this man. And just like the lines I could pull from this. Fucking Paulie, I am the unsilenced majority, big mouth. It's just, I'd have to go with 4 just because of, like, there's too much I can pull from. It's obviously probably not the best movie altogether, but in terms of something that I would watch to death, Rocky 4.
And this is where we agree, because let me tell you, it's Rocky 4 all the way to me. That'd be mostly because, like when I was growing up, we stole cable and we had TNT, right? And with that, it came on. I wouldn't say every day, because memories are foggy, but it felt like it came on every day.
Our family had a box set of the first 5 movies.
That's awesome. So I came on and just watching Drago. And then, I grew up in the 80s. So, Cold War was still a thing. America versus Russia was still a thing. That's what that, movie was all about. I really dug it. Big Bridget Nielsen guy myself when I was growing up. Tall blonde. All about that. Sylvester Stallone was all about that too. Because he married her. But no, Rocky 4 it's 4, 3, 2 in that order for me. And here's the thing, and the reason why I would agree with you in that regard is because while I love Rocky 2, I kind of have to only watch it when I'm in the middle of like the movie marathon, because if I want to watch Rocky 2, chances are I want to watch the first one, and if I'm going to choose between the first or the second one, I'm choosing the first one every single time. Yeah, that's an easy choice.
Yeah. And then 3, I love 3, and it probably has the better story in my opinion, because the idea of Rocky going from being the underdog to being champ and kind of losing his way is way better than just, you have to kill this Russian guy. Despite all of that, I still can't get over the fucking montages and music and the fighting and how ridiculously sounding the punches are. I watched the director's cut, actually, that Stallone directed over the pandemic. they took out some stuff that I liked, like a lot of stuff that I liked. I dug the fact that Stallone did it and he did a documentary of him making the director's cut. I thought it was really cool, but I'm going to choose the original still every time just because, I mean, it's iconic to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, I just know how huge of a fan of the Rocky series that you are. So I really had to ask that question. You know, I got the honor of meeting Carl Weathers earlier this year. So
no way.
Yeah, so I got the honor of meeting Carl Weathers earlier this year. So that was cool. But that dude's prices are ridiculous. So like, if you want you want an 8x10, I think it was like $60, right?
Right.
Yeah, $60, no big deal. But let's just say let's say I bought a Apollo Creed Funko Pop, $15. Yeah, it's $300 for him to sign it.
Wow, dude. Here's the deal. If I was ever gonna meet any of the cast members of the movie, I'd want to meet Burt Young, because Paulie is amazing, and Burt Young is still very, very proud and happy about those. And I wish I could have met Burgess Meredith. Of course, he has to die the year I was born. God damn it. Fucking miss you, Mickey.
But he was 100. He was like 100 when he did that.
I don't care, dude. I never. Come on,
I mean,
bro.
You were born, what, 20 years after that first movie came out?
We're not even going to talk about that. But also, I would probably, because, I mean, Stallone is probably one of my favorite actors of all time, just because of just the outrageousness of, like, how his story is and the fact that he sounds the way that he sounds, but he is still legendary when it comes to acting. Stallone would be one of those guys like, name your price. I really don't care. If I got a chance to meet Sylvester Stallone, I would drop whatever was asked.
Dude,
because it'd be the coolest fucking thing.
So they have a LA Meet Sylvester Stallone experience, right? And it's I think it was $750 to $1,000. I think it all goes to charity. And it was $750.
That at least I appreciate.
You know, he does his little one-man thing, talk about it, and then you get like a picture and like an autograph 8x10, and it's $750. And people like, would you pay that? I was like, dude, if that was The Rock, I would pay $2,000. I would literally call in every favor, every loan I could if I was broke at that time, and I would pay $2,000, and I wouldn't flinch or anything because it's The Rock. So I'm like, Sylvester Stallone at $750. I'm like, you're talking about Rocky. You're talking about Rambo, The Expendables, all the great things he's done. He is a Hollywood legend. $750 is cheap. That is him saying, hey, I just want to meet some people, because he can charge whatever number he wants. So, because he's Sylvester Stallone. So, I don't know. Him, Schwarzenegger, you know, you got the people that were the basic of my childhood. Like I was going to say, Rocky 3 is 2 on my eyes, because when I was a kid, you want to talk about being a mark for somebody. I've always said I was an Arn Anderson fan my whole life. I was this fan my whole life. Dude, when I was 3 and 4, there were 2 people that meant everything in the world to me. And I would have, like, 3-4-year-old died for. Michael Jackson. Yes. I had the little glove, and I was doing the spins and all that stuff. And Mr. T. Oh, my God, Mr. T and the A-Team. I had the Mr. T cereal. I would say I pitied a fool all the time. I asked to get the haircut like Mr. T.
Have you seen Mr. T? Have you seen Mr. T's anti-drug campaign?
Like
his "Say No to Drugs" video, like commercial that he's in.
From the 80s?
Yes.
Yes.
Legendary. Yes. Where he like shakes you not to do drugs.
Yes. He abuses you not to do drugs, dude. Yeah, I was Mr. T Mark. Like, it was funny. I was at Dale, and funny story about meeting the Miz is I was at Dale, and Mr. T was supposed to come do one of the sales events for Dale. And I don't know. I guess I can say the company name on here, but this was a long time ago. And he couldn't make it. And I was so excited Mr. T was going to be in our building. So excited, and he couldn't make it. And then I was like, oh, who are they going to bring in? Oh, they brought in The Miz and Goldberg. So I got to meet both of them in the building of my job without ever leaving.
That's freaking cool, dude.
And I was like, dude, like, Mr. T was great. But you replaced The Miz and Goldberg. I'm okay with that, because Goldberg lives, he just drove up. he lives very close to Oklahoma. He's in Dallas or whatever. So he just drove up. The Miz actually was at Raw the night before. He took a red eye all night from Toronto to do the thing in Oklahoma City. So when he talks about how he's the hardest working person in the WWE, that night, just like before I even started saying that night proved to me that dude has an incredible work ethic.
Yeah. Well, I will say right now, because we got to get into the show. I love this little rocky intro that we did, but we got to get to AEW. That's what people came here for.
Yes, give the people what they want.
Now, real quick before the final thing I'll say before we get started with everything. I know y'all have been dealing with my shitty internet for the past couple episodes, and I want to apologize for that. There was technical issues that I wasn't able to solve for a while, and it confused the hell out of me. I believe now we are in the clear. Like, I've been talking, and I've been at full bars this entire time. Floyd has never had to be like, oh, I lost you for a second. We have been in the clear for this good period of this episode. So I think from this moment on, unless I catch things happening, we should be in the clear with my internet. So again, thanks for putting up with that. I apologize again for all the messes that it caused because, I mean, it just made the episodes a lot more difficult to listen to. But we should be fine now, and thank you for being patient with me. But we got a lot to talk about for this episode of All Things Elite. We're getting closer and closer to Full Gear, so we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff, including AEW Dynamite and Rampage, which had a big surprise for this past week, which we're going to have to talk about. But first, guys, please keep downloading the show on Apple and Google Podcasts. Give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and also shout out to our Spotify listeners. You can also leave a rating and a review. Let us know how we're doing. We are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter. At Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And the big news of the week is the fact that Full Gear is getting closer and closer. We're on the countdown to Full Gear, and we're getting more matches that have been announced for Full Gear outside of our AEW Championship match between Jon Moxley and MJF that we are going to be getting. And yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic for Full Gear. I think it's going to be a really great show with some of the stuff that they've already announced. I'm sure we'll talk about it as things go on.
Yes.
But Full Gear is getting closer and closer. And I mean, the excitement is building for sure. This seems like it could be a banger of a show to close out the year.
Dude, let me tell you the most exciting part. I was going to Full Gear by myself. I've been really I'm really on this try to do better with money. I'm like, I spend frivolously. I give frivolously. That's what I do. So I've been trying to do better. So I was just like, hey, I'm just going to go to Full Gear by myself. And then this week, Mr. Dave Finishels, friend of the show, Dave, said, hey, my wife has the kids. Next week. So, on Full Gear week, so I can come with you, which is great. Because, I love going to wrestling shows. I like going to wrestling shows with my friends better. So the fact that he could make it and meet me in the beautiful state of New Jersey, which I don't think anyone ever has called New Jersey a beautiful state. But yes, I get to go watch Full Gear, which is cool. So yeah, it's really cool. Oh man, speaking of New Jersey, and this is just a throwaway, we can move on. I get to meet Kevin Smith this weekend, so I'm really excited about that.
Shout out.
Yeah. He is going to be doing his show here, and he's doing a signing the day before his show. So I'm going to the signing, and then I'm going to the show the next day. So personal hero of mine, Mr. Kevin Smith. So I'm excited for that. And the whole New Jersey thing made me think of it because, he's the best New Jersey person from New Jersey ever. Screw Bruce Springsteen. It's all about Kevin Smith is the real. He's the real boss. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair enough, I guess. All right, well, let's get into our AEW week in review. Starting off with AEW Dynamite emanating from Baltimore, Maryland. And I'll mention this actually right now off the top of the show. In this first match that we had, which was Darby Allen versus Jay Lethal, I believe it was during this match, in fact, people were not able to pay attention because walking to ringside was... Ooh, and Floyd's not going to be happy about this. I know he probably wasn't happy to see him. Was Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens.
Boo, he's trash.
Star quarterback of the Ravens shows up. And another guy joined him as well. And we're going to talk about that later in the show. Because we're going to save that one other guy for later. because I'm so excited to talk about that.
I'm prediction Lamar Jackson is a Detroit Lion next year. So there you go.
Please, I'm on my hands and knees. Please, for the love of God, like it would put us in cap hell, but I don't fucking care. I don't think he'd ever come here. First of all, but second, please.
Right,
my God.
So, few $100 million guaranteed has a way of changing someone's mind about a place. And so, during my, brief rest of football breakdown, I was basically looking at all the teams. I was looking at New Orleans, looking at this, and I was like, I felt like the Lions feel like the team that is most just a quarterback away. Y'all have a strong running game.
Yeah.
You have a strong running game. Yeah, y'all drafted the offensive line and taking care of them. You got the one wide receiver that's hurt right now that'll be back before next year. I just feel like y'all have a really good, talented team to put around.
We have a really talented offense, I feel like, and when it wants to work on all cylinders. Our defense, I still think, is ways away.
Add the the most athletic, probably football player in the NFL to that team. I mean, and the NFC North in general is just down.
It is, for except for the Vikings, who even they look weak.
So yeah, it's like kind of there for a take. But again, that's me getting back into football. You see what kind of state of mind I am.
Absolutely,
Let's talk.
That's
about
what happens.
wrestling.
But yes, no, Lamar Jackson was in the crowd for AEW, and he was mentioned also later in the show. We'll talk about that too. But we opened with Darby Allen and Jay Lethal facing off against each other, and this was a good match to start things off, I will say. But there was a thing that, honestly, the thing that happened after the match was the biggest thing. Because I mean, the match was good. I think that's fair enough to say. But we have to talk about what happened afterwards. So after Darby Allen was able to get the diving into what's his name, Jay Lethal at one point, he tries to dive Tope Suicida at Satnam Singh, and he bounces off of him. One of the coolest things I've ever seen, but Darby, you're a fucking psychopath. Like, that spot was outstanding. So in that response, though, Darby is trying to set up for the coffin drop. A guy wearing Sting's outfit comes out, distracts him, lethal injection. After getting a bat and hitting Darby with it, Jay Lethal pins Darby Allen. And the guy who is dressed up as Imposter Sting is Cole Carter from The Factory. And everyone is just like, what the fuck? Like, really? That's who was dressed up as Sting? We thought this was going to be way bigger. But then Sting's music hits, and he's about to people are looking for Sting, but then all of a sudden somebody else jumps into the ring, and it's fucking Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett gets in the ring, nails Darby with a guitar, busts him open like in the back of his head to the point where blood is coming out of his head as he's on the canvas. And then Jeff Jarrett starts cutting a promo, calling out Darby Allen and saying, whatever you worship becomes your weakness, and Sting has become your biggest weakness. And then he starts going after the AEW fan base, and he's sending a message being about how his family got into the business in 1946, over 75 years, 3 generations. Jarrett's made an impact, and my fingerprints have been all over AEW as well as my father's and my grandmother's. And once I'm done with this place, there's going to be full body bags. You can choke on that, slap nuts. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, first of all, cool that Jeff Jarrett has been in pretty much every single company in the entire wrestling industry. And like when he says his
and like this year.
Yeah, like, this year as well. Like he's been jumping all over the place this year. So wild and crazy. I just don't know why. I mean, first of all, we know that a big reason is that he was signed for a big like backstage coaching role and stuff like that, which I think is great and I think is a really cool thing. That being said, him getting a mic and cutting a promo after taking out Darby Allen and talking about the things he's going to be doing to AEW, I just don't know why. It just seems like very random. I'm more than interested to see whatever Jeff Jarrett is in AEW to see what that even consists of. But it just threw me off so hard. Combined with the why, with Cole Carter being dressed up as Sting, and that was the reveal, and it was garbage. and then Jeff Jarrett showing up out of fucking thin air. It was a very weird start to Dynamite, I gotta say.
Dude.
And I didn't hate it, but I was just like, this is weird.
Yes, as someone that would call himself a TNA original back in the $9.99 days, just dishing it out every week, especially when I was broke. No, but yeah, this was amazing. This was amazing. Listen up, slap nuts. He got the stroke. He hits it with the guitar. I love it. It adds something to Jay Lethal that I felt like his character was kind of getting stale. So it adds something to this act. Cole Carter apparently was on hire from the factory, as he is not actually in this Jeff Jarrett group. He was just there for a distraction as the Sting character. So yeah, excited about that. But yes, Jeff Jarrett, he gets a new role in AEW. Jeff Jarrett, stay winning. I have always been a guy that was much higher on Jeff Jarrett than everyone else. I've always liked him. I've always just thought he understood his role in wrestling. You know what I mean? In Impact in the early days where there weren't like any contracts, like, you know, people had like, everybody was on a pay per week contract. He was the champion. And why was he the champion? He had to make sure the champion was going to show up every week. You know what I mean? But as soon as he got the chance, he tried to put other people over. I am, like I said, just a big Jeff Jarrett guy. Excited that he's in it. Apparently, he's going to be expanding the live touring options of AEW, which, you know, generally when you do that, that's either going to be two things. Every Rampage is going to be live, or they're going to start doing house shows. Either one, I'm all for. And, you know, they might even add more pay-per-views. But I am excited. Jeff Jarrett was doing the live TV for a while, for not a long while, but for a while for WWE. You know, they know how to get people to show up to shows. So I'm looking forward to this going forward.
Yeah, we'll see how all that goes. We then had an AEW World Championship Eliminator match between Jon Moxley and Lee Moriarty from The Firm, who was showcasing a lot of stuff on this week in AEW. And this was based off of what happened last week on Rampage. And this was solid enough, I felt like. A decent enough match. It was nice to see Moxley working with a guy like Lee, like a younger guy like that. Regardless of the fact, Lee he got pretty close at one point when he proceeded to try to get his Border City stretch. It didn't work out. Moxley then proceeded to make him tap out with an armbar, and then Ethan Page came down and knocked out Jon Moxley, blindsided him. And again, I think this puts up Ethan Page with a chance to try to get involved with Jon Moxley. And I think if there was any guy to be like the kind of main person to get something out of The Firm, it would be Ethan Page, because that dude is really freaking good. Even though apparently he likes Morbius, shame him forever. Shame him.
It's Morbin time, baby.
But regardless, though, I thought this match was fine enough. I didn't think that it was a bad match. You know, it's just kind of like another one of those matches that you get sometimes where it's like, well, the outcome was never in doubt. But, you know, I am interested to see Ethan Page's involvement and how much he gets out of The Firm.
Yeah, I'm not hating on Lee Moriarty. I hope him all the success in the world, but he does nothing for me. Just like, when he's on my screen, I'm just like, cool. Like, I feel nothing.
Tiger style.
I don't hate him. I don't love him. I just feel nothing towards him. It's not even go away heat, because I don't care enough for him to go away. It's just like, okay, he's here. And it was like, with the Moxley match, I'm like, I would love to be more excited about a Moxley match, because, you know, it's Moxley. But yeah, it was just like, he's going to crush this dude. And like I said, I've watched him wrestle, and it's just, you know, I thought I saw something at the beginning, but I don't see anything. Maybe we'll see more. You know, I always leave myself open. I always state the Darby Allen of it all, like how much I didn't like him at first. So I always say people have time to grow. But right now, it's like Lee Moriarty is a yawn when he comes on. So this match is cool. It furthers the story. Ethan Page, I'm looking like push this man to the moon.
All right. Well, we then had a sit-down interview that was supposed to be with Renee Paquette interviewing Dr. Britt Baker and Saraya, except Britt Baker did not show up, and Saraya's response was like, well, she doesn't care. She'd be lucky even if just to have this interview. And they then started talking more about Saraya and just how AEW, there was something special about it. She wanted to be a part of it. And once timing things worked out with her injury and everything like that, she felt like she could get more and like get more out of her wrestling career. And then when asked about her health, she said she's going to save the information for next week because she said she's consulted a lot of doctors about this return, but there's one more doctor she's going to consult on this, which is a nice little tease. This segment I thought was cool. Sit-down interviews with Renee I think are really cool, and they felt very genuine and like kind of almost natural a little bit with these two. And yeah, I thought it was cool that we kind of like spent a little bit more time to like wait for Britt Baker to speak on everything and get these two with a mic in each other's hands and just have them go at it this will be the build to this match at Full Gear, which I'm very excited about for Saraya's first official singles match in AEW and years as well.
Yeah, and when it comes to it, I thought this was pretty creatively done. I don't know if this was the plan or if there was something in the background, but Britt not showing up is perfect. Britt big timed her, said, you know what, I don't have to show up on your time, and she addresses it later on the show. But yeah, I thought Paige did what she could. Definitely did what she could with the segment. She's always been somewhat of a strong talker. She can talk some good shit. So I'm looking forward to where this is going. I can tell, I think they were waiting closer to the show to really get in the build, and that's what we're going to somewhat get this week. So I'm looking forward to how they play this out to this big-ass singles match.
For sure. We then had a quick little thing with William Regal, basically talking about how you have all the potential in the world, but it won't help you become the AEW World Champion to face a real demon in Jon Moxley. We'll move over, though, quickly to Daddy Ass's birthday bash with the Acclaim coming out and Billy Gunn coming out with his hands all taped up because he was attacked by Swerve on Rampage and completely had his fingers chopped at by Swerve Strickland. And again, another wonderful segment from the Acclaim, continuing to showcase how good they are. They showcased because they were like, okay, he can't scissor, unfortunately, because of his fingers, but now he has Acclaimed foam fingers that are scissor fingers. And I was just like, you just made $1 million right there. Like, the amount of foam fingers that they're going to sell is going to be ridiculous. Hats off to you. Like, you just you perfected marketing right there with that decision to make those. They also proceeded to give a trophy to Daddy Ass. That's World's Best Daddy. And then they actually had a ton of paperwork signed, and they had a full certificate of adoption that they just needed a signature from Billy Gunn. And he's like, I get to be your daddy? And I'm just like, literally, as I'm saying this, I'm just like, Billy, you have kids. And then Austin and Colton Gunn show up. They're like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally like, can you not see that Billy Gunn is trying to recreate the Family Guy My Black Son, but My Black Sons? It was just so ridiculous, but they were so upset how they weren't invited, but they were like, it's okay, we got you a gift. And it was W. Morrissey who proceeded to knock the shit out of Billy Gunn, and then the Guns came in to beat up on the Acclaimed, and they were saved by FTR. Dax and Cash come out, and they even up the odds, and then they proceed to, after they chase off the Firm, they pick up the AEW World Tag Team titles, hold on to them for a little bit before begrudgingly handing them back to the Acclaimed. But it was very much said, we're getting those back. And we'll see how many more months it takes until we get that match. Because it seems to be taking longer and longer by the second with FTR. But at least I know, Floyd, we're getting confirmation at least that they will be defending the IWG belts at in the Tokyo Dome, it looks like, from reports.
So I am, so as far as the segment, really happy with it. I mean, honestly, this is the most WWE at times the AEW feels, but it works.
It works. Again, like I said, it's like there's a reason why the skits with in the segments with the bloodline with all the ridiculousness that Sami Zayn brings works. There's a reason why this works. Entertainment is still a very big part of wrestling, and there's a reason why it's still very much a part of it in every form. Yeah. So, and when done well, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, and that's I was gonna say you were making my points. So no, so I was really excited about that segment. But when FTR came out, I was actually shocked and kind of yelled a little bit because they had a match in Japan on Friday. I didn't think they were going to be on the show this week. That shows you, again, they are the hardest working tag team in wrestling. They were at Dynamite, did their thing, and then they flew to Japan to do their thing there. Yeah, you know what? I was making this point today. You know, I love FTR, and I've been one of their biggest proponents for them getting their title shot. But if you look at what AEW's done over the last year by keeping them out of the real title picture, they have built 2 new tag teams.
Facts.
So they have pushed the claim to the moon, which if FTR is the champion, I don't know how much that happens. They've pushed Swerve in Our Glory to the moon. And again, FTR being champions, I don't know how much that happens. And while they've also kept FTR strong because they don't lose very much and they have 3 belts. And now they have a chance to elevate the Ass Boys in their little feud. So I don't know. I saw it. I started looking at it big picture with what they've done in the tag team division, and I'm like, they've done a really good job. And and they haven't. I don't want FTR's next title run. The big thing with me is I don't want it to be short. So that being said, hey, if you want to wait till the right time and give them the year and a half run, go for it. But yeah, if you give me a month run, I'll be ready to punch someone in the throat. But yeah, this is really good, and it set up a match for this week that I'm excited to see. And the Claimed are so over. They are just so over.
They are.
I'm literally seeing scissoring everywhere, like on Facebook and all that stuff. I know some people doing the scissor thing that don't even know why they're doing it. They just they thought it's a new hello or whatever. So I'm looking forward to the scissoring. I'm going to scissor Dave so hard next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, we then had a little backstage thing where Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, was like, look, I'm with Tony Schiavone. It's my interview on my time. And they're just like, you know what? We're tired of all this talking. We just want to wrestle. Find us a tag team to wrestle on Friday for Rampage. So there was that. But then we had the open challenge for Chris Jericho, the Ocho, for his Ring of Honor World Championship, where he was facing a former champion of Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And he, during this, called out how he would even beat up Lamar Jackson.
Yes. Someone, from last week, I know it was choppy. I did my best on the editing. But do you remember someone
Hang on.
saying who the mystery guy's going to be?
Yes, I do remember exactly that, and we're going to say that right now. So once after Lamar Jackson was called out by Chris Jericho, which also, if you haven't seen his interview he did for the Ravens, where he talked about how he's just I didn't think he was going to do that. I just oh, he's talking to me, and then started laughing. Seek that out. The open challenge was revealed to be accepted by Boom Boom Colt Cabana, and yes. This man right here called it.
My friend told me he doesn't listen to the show sometimes because he says I'm a spoiler alert. I like the boom boom. It felt like so. At the beginning, he said he was going to take out all ROH world champions, right? Then the stipulation changed to anybody that's been a champion in ROH, and it just felt like that stipulation was changed for someone in particular. Like they had someone in mind when they decided to make that change. And so it just made sense to me. It
also seemed like that they made that change too in order to spite another man.
Oh, I wasn't gonna bring that up. I know that's your boy. It's your family.
No, it's fine.
guy.
Look, dude. I mean, like, listen. If people don't see this happening and the overwhelming love that Colt got on Twitter from most of the AEW locker room and people in wrestling in general, which again, amazing. It was great seeing Colt. Genuinely, really wonderful moment. But if y'all don't see this as the end of CM Punk and AEW, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's over. Like, it was a wonderful run. I will continue to talk about how much I love the year that I had with CM Punk being back in wrestling and being in AEW. It's truly the best year of my life when it comes to being a wrestling fan. But it's over. Like, buy your physical copies of Fight Forever when they come out. So you have, like, one more thing that has him on the face of it. Because you won't be seeing it anymore.
Go to C2E2, maybe get it signed. You know what I mean?
There you go, Yeah. And then he'll probably be like crossing out the faces of Kenny Omega and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, dude. I'm all about him just doing something I like really petty, but,
Oh, he would.
There's this big thing called a no-compete clause, and, they have all these clauses for things you can say. A non-disparagement clause where they don't speak badly about the others. I mean, it's very possible that could be the case. Yeah. So it's just like
plus, I feel like again he's done. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to do it anymore. That's the way I see it because it just seems that way. Again, that's because you ain't going back to WWE, brother man. I know it ain't gonna happen. Will you talk to Hunter? Sure. Will you go back? No.
I mean, you know what? I always say this. There's always a number. Does Hunter think he's worth the number? I don't know. There's a number.
I don't think the number is worth the uproar that locker room would have if he showed up.
Yes.
I will say that right now. But regardless, again, my boy is off to the sunset and the bridge is being burned. Like, this was a fuck you. This was a fuck you moment. And honestly, well played.
You can't get much for $5 these days. Unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT. Plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink. All for just $5. You got that bag. You got that Biggie Bag. You got that bag. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that Biggie Bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Tired of long waits and rushed care at the ER and urgent care clinic? Next time, stay home and let Dispatch Health bring the power of the hospital to you.
I call Dispatch Health. A care team of medical professionals actually come to your house.
They're the same caliber of people that you would see if you were at a hospital or an urgent care.
Dispatch Health can treat most non-life-threatening emergencies.
They can do the x-rays, they can do stitches,
urinary tract infections, blood test, urinalysis, ultrasound.
It's almost everything that they can do at the ER.
You never feel rushed. They're there for you and only you.
I felt like their only patient.
And it costs no more than a trip to urgent care because Dispatch Health is covered by most insurance, including Medicare. See if we serve your home at dispatchhealth.com.
Dispatch Health really went above and beyond.
It's wonderful to have care come to your home.
House calls are back, and they're better than ever. Learn more at dispatchhealth.com.
It was a really good and well done fuck you moment. Even though, let's be fair here, Colt did not look good in this match. I think he might have been dealing with some injuries already and like kind of dealing with the fact that, I mean, this dude's been wrestling for a very long time.
You know, it's impossible for him to be good at wrestling, right?
That's not true.
Because he shares a bank account with his mom, sir.
Okay, can we quit it now, please? Can we quit it now?
He that piece of crap that shares a bank account with his mom. Oh my God, he's not good at it.
I don't know why that's the thing that people are focusing on. It's like the whole lawsuit was based on the fact that like the legal fees and he wasn't paying anything. Whatever, fuck it, I don't care.
Your boy went on like a 6-minute rant. A 6 to 10 minute rant talking about how this dude was a piece of shit because
he mentioned the bank account twice.
Yes, but he went on. He's like, I had to sue his mom because he shares.
You didn't know? No, come on. Okay, look. Okay, I get it. Everyone hates CM Punk. I get it. I totally get it.
You know I don't hate CM Punk.
I know. I'm just saying.
I don't hate CM Punk, but I'm just saying he made it a thing, which made like all of us people like that actually for some reason or not shared a bank account with our mom. Like, oh, am I a piece of shit? Because it's like, what's going on here? No, it was just a weird thing to attack about a man. It really was. It was just a weird thing to attack about a man. I give shit even though, I appreciate CM Punk. Like, people have offered me stuff for my memorabilia now that he's gone, and I'm like, no, dude, no. I was at literally every one of CM Punk's pay-per-view matches while he was under AEW umbrella. From the entrance to the end. The year of Punk, I'm there for all of it. So I'm very excited that he had his year. I am very grateful for his year. But yeah, if he wants to walk out in the sunset, go for
it. Which is going to happen. So there you go. Again, I that's it. And again, the match, getting back to Dynamite, the match between Jericho and Colt Cabana, it was okay. Again, Colt was struggling at moments in this match, and you could tell. But regardless, I think it was just a nice, cool moment. It was like, we now have hopefully a bit of closure until we get the official announcement of the buyout for his contract, which I'm sure we'll get in the coming months. And then, once it all happens and everything's good to go and he's bought out of his contract, and then hopefully, I can just be left alone with the memories that I had, and people will talk shit about him for the rest of the time, and then until eventually, they're like, man, his run though was good, except for the fact that he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And then we'll come to a nice medium. He's an asshole, but God, he's still good. Oh, and God, that run was amazing.
He's not quite Michael Jordan, but who else was really good but an asshole but not great? I don't know.
Bill Lambier?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you can find a nice comp out there, a sports comp out there.
That's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's the same thing that I say about the Detroit Pistons bad boys. Was Bill Lambier an asshole? Yes, but he was my asshole.
Exactly, and that's how I feel about CM Punk. It's just like, he's my asshole. Everyone knew that it was coming, and it was just like, whatever. I don't know. I still plan on eventually going to one of the shows he is and taking all my chairs, all of them, and getting them signed by CM Punk. And I'm going to be like, hey, thank you for that year. You did a great job. Of course I wanted 2. Of course I wanted 2 years. Of course I wanted CM Punk versus MJF. There's a lot of things I want in wrestling, and there's a lot of things I want in wrestling that I never get. I want Cody to beat Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania. As closer we get into it, it's not looking like it. That's the situation that's going. So it's just like, it is what it is. It's wrestling. So I wish him the best. And AEW is going to move on without him, which is, the thing.
He's the spoke on the wheel. The wheel's going to keep turning, and he understands that.
Yes.
Shout out if anybody gets that reference. But regardless, Colt Cabana did not win the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I was so shocked. I really thought he was going to pull it out.
There you go. And after he tried to hit the Superman pin, Jake Hager saved him. And then Colt hit a moonsault off onto Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia. The Codebreaker was hit onto Cabana, and that's all it took to pin him. And then Ian Riccaboni was about to get beat up again. Y'all got to leave Ian alone. I swear to fucking God, leave my guy alone. You want to talk about actually one of my guys? Ian is my guy. That's my dude.
Man, it's the problem is his face. He has. I
get it.
You want to elbow, okay?
I get it, but he's so cool and nice.
Yes,
he's
he really
so
is.
Cool and nice.
He really is.
But regardless, Claudio Castagnoli comes out, tackles Chris Jericho, comes to his aid. Bryan Danielson also comes out to help. Yuta comes out, and then once again we have Blackpool Combat Club and JAS fighting each other yet again. I'm fine with this feud continuing. I don't give a damn. These guys are amazing. Blood and Guts was a ton of fun, and I am all for these two sides to keep going at each other's throats. So, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I actually heard some friends, man, this feud is still going on, and I just it's so funny because you do have these people that are like, this feud still going on. And it's actually somewhat of a long feud. It's been going on since April. But then you have people that are like, oh my God, we need long-term storytelling. And it's just like, generally, when you have fight clubs and wars like that, they don't really end. They just kind of go away and then they keep coming back. So I don't know. I like this storyline. I like the Blackpool Combat Club. I kind of like what Chris Jericho said, later on. Hey, I don't think y'all actually like each other, which is funny. I saved this little anecdote, right? Do you know the Blackpool Combat Club and how it's constructed as being kind of a wrestling fight team instead of an actual faction?
Yes.
That was the idea of the Nightmare family originally from Cody.
And it makes a whole lot of sense that this is the kind of thing that he'd want to happen.
He's like, we're not a faction. We're more of a fight team. We're like all under this fight team banner, almost like what was the team name with Ego and Scorpio Sky? They were part of a fight team. American Top Team. There you go. America's Top Team. So it's kind of like that. So it's kind of funny that it's an old Cody idea actualized. And they might not have had anything to do with each other. Bryan Danielson's a very intelligent, creative guy. So, you got Regal, you got Mox, you got Claudio all in that group. So any of them could have came up with what this eventually became on its own. But I just do remember an interview early on is he's like, Nightmare Family is more of a fight team than a faction. So that's exactly what the Blackpool Combat Club is. They're a fight team and they'll fight together when necessary, but they don't really need to fight together.
There you go. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Yeah, so I got nothing more to say in regards to that. But we then had the All-Atlantic Championship match between the champion, Orange Cassidy, 1/3 of the Trios champions, Rey Fenix, and Luchasaurus in a three-way match for this title. I thought this was probably my favorite match in this show, I gotta say. These guys did a ton of really fucking cool stuff. Luchasaurus was the big man that everyone had to try to get through in order to be able to win the match to begin with. Eventually, though, at one point, Luchasaurus takes Rey Fenix, slams him through the table by the ringside area. He then proceeds to knock Orange Cassidy all the way up and towards the ramp, and he's about to beat the shit out of him until Jungle Boy comes out, hits him with a steel chair, and then proceeds to throw his entire body at Luchasaurus off of the stage and through multiple tables, which was a huge fucking moment and was so cool to see. Eventually, Pac ran down to the ring and gave that ring bell hammer that he told Rey Fenix, if you want to win, use this. This is going to help you get that title and be as good as you can be. Rey refuses of it, and he gives it back to Pac. Orange Cassidy, though, hits him with the orange punch, and Rey Fenix loses, and Orange Cassidy retains the All-Atlantic Championship. Afterwards, Pac jumps in, starts beating the shit out of Orange Cassidy. But fucking then, Katsuyori Shibata, out of fucking nowhere, Shibata comes back to AEW, his first appearance since fucking Forbidden Door, and he comes out, chases off Pac. Alongside, he had Rocky Romero and the Best Friends as well. So, Roppongi Vice, shout out. And, the crowd couldn't believe it. Shibata was there, and Orange Cassidy also had a contract at one point that he could have anybody sign to have his dream match for the All-Atlantic Championship. So he had a dream match that he could basically get signed for Rampage against whoever he wanted, and he picked Shibata because, as we all remember from Forbidden Door, that amazing scene of Orange Cassidy giving Shibata his aviator sunglasses, and Shibata looking dope as fuck with those sunglasses on. So we got fucking Shibata versus OC for the All-Atlantic Championship on Rampage last week. Talk about a fucking way to immediately get people to care about Rampage. Like, holy shit. That was a huge moment. I was stunned that Shibata was back and that we were going to get him wrestling in AEW, because we didn't get him wrestling at Forbidden Door. He just showed up. He just showed up at the end of the Will Ospreay OC match. But, man, this was a huge moment. This probably, for me, was my favorite part of the show.
Oh, God, this is absolutely my favorite part of the show. I'm like, oh, my God. And I was trying because me and JR watched the show on the phone together. I know that's weird old people shit, but we watched the show on the phone together. So I am about 30 seconds ahead of him. So I start yelling, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, because I didn't want to spoil it. So I wouldn't say exactly what was happening. He's like, what happened? What happened? And then all of a sudden the music, oh my God, Shibata! So we both were able to freak out. Dude, such a cool moment. And even how he did it, he just kind of hands him the contract. God, I'm an Orange Cassidy guy. I mean, I'm not going to say he's ever going to be my favorite wrestler, but dude, I want him on my screen all the time. And then you had Katsuyori Shibata. It's like, dude just looks like he can fight. Like, from the moment he walks out, he looks like he's going to bust you up. So that's pretty cool. I was just really excited. Just got my energy going. I mean, the match was great. Don't get me wrong, the match was great. But the moment with Shibata, I know casuals won't know who he is, but that's what you have Excalibur for. And Excalibur is great at giving the history of wrestling very, very quickly. He lets you know who the man is, why it's important. But, the people in the building that, keep up know exactly why it's important. So shout out to him, the wrestler.
My favorite thing that I've seen is for the people that just always go the who response for any Japanese wrestler that shows up on AEW. They're like, here's a QR code, scan this and you'll find out. That was I love that joke. And I was just like, that's funny.
Because what's hilarious to me is that, so you're watching football, right? And your starting DB gets hurt. And they bring off the 52nd man on the roster to play DB, right? People don't be like, oh, my God, how are we going to follow the game? Because I don't know who this guy is. And I don't know his backstory. And I don't know where he's from. And I'm just like, dude, that's what the announcer and play-by-play, that's what Austin's there for.
Yes.
To tell you. And if they're doing their job, you're going to know everything you need to know about him to keep watching it. So, yes, Excalibur or Tony Schiavone is going to tell you who the scary Japanese man is. Don't worry. Just wait a few seconds. And it's just and it's so funny because I truly think the craziest thing is the biggest people that bitch about it are the people that know who he is.
Exactly. They just don't like him.
Yeah. It's like, you know who the man is, so whatever. I don't know. Wrestling, Dynamite was good. It was a good episode. I'm not going to call it.
Well, we didn't finish yet, though.
Yeah.
We did not finish yet, though. So
we got more. And
we still got one more thing we got to get to.
Wait.
A couple things, actually.
There's more.
There's still more here. Yeah. So first off, we had, after this, we had the TBS Championship being defended. Jade Cargill defending it against Marina Shafir. And this match, let's be fair, to protect Marina Shafir, had Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero come out with microphones doing live commentary, and Nyla Rose continuing to be the best version of herself, just being the biggest troll and not shutting up, while Vicky Guerrero laughs hysterically and is screaming. You're focused on that you pretty much barely care about the match itself, and then Jade Cargill beats Marina Shafir and retains the title. And this was just simply to have the break before the main event. I get it, but it was also to protect Marina Shafir because she's still not ready. It's pretty clear, and even AEW knows that she's not ready because if they wanted you to focus on the match, Nyla and Vicky wouldn't come out to talk shit. So, yeah, I got nothing much more to say about that.
I was gonna say, man, I could go into this a lot. I honestly. I had seen potential in Marina Shafir. I don't think she's bad. I just don't think she's good. And Jade is great. Jade is great. Really love Jade. But is she carry a match great yet? And I don't think she's that yet. And I think that's what it would have required for this match. So the match was what it was. Nyla was a great distraction. She's very entertaining as usual. I love that they're allowing Nyla to be Nyla.
Same. Oh, please let Nyla be Nyla for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Main event time, though. We have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship being defended by Samoa Joe against the Machine's Brian Cage from the Embassy. Big, meaty men slapping meat, and then you got two big men who shouldn't be able to do the things that they do. You got fucking all the different types of things that these guys can do that are fucking insane. It's just a bunch of heavy hitting shit. And again, this probably would be match of the night if we didn't just come off of the amazingness that was the segment prior with the All Atlantic Championship. But the match continues to come down, and Brian Cage is proceeding to put the pressure on until he gets put into a sleeper hold and is forced to tap out, but to Samoa Joe, who retains the title. Afterwards, however, we had the Gates of Agony and the other members of the embassy show up to beat up Samoa Joe. The TNT champion, Wardlow, comes down and chases off the embassy. And then after that happens, though, Powerhouse Hobbs comes down, plants him with a spine buster, holds up the TNT championship, as, of course, he attacked Wardlow the previous week on Rampage. So that was the closing moment of Dynamite. Not the best closing moment, I would say, but at least, you know what, we're kind of getting an idea about the TNT championship, which has been dead in the water because we just can't showcase this title in a way that makes any sense. I swear it's frustrating to me because I was like, I love Wardlow as TNT champion. They're not doing anything with him though, and it's frustrating. But here at least we have a feud that I can be interested in because big meaty men slapping meat, but then also too because Hobbs is a good heel. I like Hobbs, and I think Wardlow's great, and I think this has a chance to be a feud that has some meat to it. But I need them to give it heat. It needs to be able to have true heat in the coming weeks towards Full Gear. So I hope we get to see some genuine cool stuff building towards this match, so that way people can care.
Absolutely. This is the one I've been calling for. I've been actually calling for this particular feud for months. Will Hobbs is big. Will Hobbs is, been with the company years. He's been pushed. He doesn't lose a lot. You know what I mean? It's just like, I believe at Full Gear or whenever, did they announce it for Full Gear? I don't know. But no, if I believe when this happens, I'm going to believe the whole time that the match is going on that Will Hobbs can actually win. That Will Hobbs can match Power Wardlow. Like, if Wardlow wins, great. That's great. But I feel like this is an actual threat. This is an actual build. This is what you need in this division. TNT belt truly feels like a stepping stone for Wardlow. So if you want to show that this belt actually means something to him, a nice, good feud with Will Hobbs. I don't want this to be one match. I want it to be a feud and, show that Wardlow, wants to be the TNT title champion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. However, there is one last thing that we have to talk about that happened on Dynamite that was actually not in the, I don't know why they didn't mention it on the results page on the website, but another hip-hop guest that we got for AEW, he was sitting next to Lamar Jackson during that opening match. Big homie, Rick Ross, Maybach Music. Oh. Rick Ross, they're backstage interviewing with Tony Schiavone, and he was with Swerve Strickland, and oh my God.
Accusations.
False accusations. And
I love how Keith Lee kept his cool, stayed in character. It was like, and answered, he commented based on what Rick Ross said. He didn't just talk over him or ignore him. He went with it. And I thought this was such a cool moment. Now, Rick Ross, I can honestly say, he is the most relevant person that they brought out. I'm not saying none of them.
In hip hop, yes, I will say right now, because if you go through the hip hop people that they have had in AEW, there's been a good amount of people that they have pulled in.
They were names. They are definitely names.
Were definitely names that they pulled in for sure. I mean, all the different people that they've had so far. I mean, you've got fucking who was the guy that showed out and punched Drew Gulak? It was Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
Kevin Gates was one. Though it was he had one big hit a few years ago, and we didn't freaking see him nearly at all.
Because he has.
But regardless. Yeah, exactly. But regardless,
now Rick Ross is multi-platinum still relatively famous, you know.
Is all over a bunch of popular hip hop songs and all that kind of stuff. So
everything I'm hustling.
Yeah, and then you still got Action Bronson, who did the great stuff with Hook. Like, again, I will say this firmly in my heart of hearts. One of the best things that AEW has done is lean on Swerve Strickland and really integrate themselves with hip hop culture, because it is fucking sick. Like, as somebody who loves both hip hop music and wrestling, it's so cool. I mean, like, these people, like, first of all, Rick Ross is absolutely a character, but also I would say too, the person that is absolutely in hip hop culture that they have had that is the biggest of the biggest, Snoop Dogg. Absolutely Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah, he did an actual wrestling move.
He did actual wrestling shit. That was y'all don't forget about Snoop Dogg.
Hey, don't you forget about multi-time recording artist Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because he was a rapper too. So no, I'm just no. It's all like I enjoy it. I like what they're doing. It feels kind of grassroots. It's like we're getting who we can get, and we're bringing out a lot of people. And you know, I think it's a good job. I mean, when Cody was around, I can honestly say, because of him doing the Go Big Show, and then of course Stephen Amell and him are tight. You had some more random people just in the crowd, because when we were there last year on December 1st for the flaming table spot, we had T-Pain in front of us. So you're trying to keep that consistency. Swerve is bringing in all this talent. I did forget one shout out. Oh my God, I'm so depressed, because I forgot this, and I meant to mention this. I actually made a note in my notes that during the Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir match, right?
Right.
Marina Shafir debuted new music. And
that's right.
It was called One Problem. And the rapper on that is friend of the show, the Social Suplexes, One Nation Radio's own Mr. Rich Latta was rapping on that song. I just couldn't imagine that. I mean, Rich, immensely talented, but like, hey, I'm watching TV and I get to hear myself rap. And basically the way he breaks it down, and you can listen to One Nation Radio this week for more, the way he breaks it down is like Ruckus hit him up, and he had the track laid down and sent back to Ruckus within like 2 hours. I was like, I told him when he told me, I was like, I would love to say I'm surprised, but I have such faith in your God-given ability to do what you do that it truly didn't shock me that you got it done that quickly, because, I mean, like I always say, Rich is like my second favorite rapper. Like, any music that he does on YouTube, anytime he appears on a track, I go listen to it, because I've always liked how Rich raps. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I meant to bring it out during the Machine and the Shavir match, because I told him he pulled off a miracle, because he raps so hard, I actually thought Marina Shafir could win for a second. So there you go.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy Rich Latta. Shout out.
Are we getting past your bedtime? I know you're on East Coast time, sir.
No, I'm all good. I'm holding in there. But yeah, that was all for AEW Dynamite. So we'll move over real quick to AEW Rampage, and they decided to start off Rampage with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Katsuyori Shibata for the All-Atlantic Championship. And yeah, this was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hell of a match. There was part of me going into this that I thought shenanigans would take place where we wouldn't get a clean finish, because I was like, are they going to have Shibata get pinned in his first match in AEW? I was just like, I don't know. I didn't know what they were going to do, honestly. Shibata kicked the shit out of Orange Cassidy in the early goings of this match. Best friends and Danhausen were kind of watching like, what has this man gotten himself into? Regardless, though, Shibata keeps trying, and he didn't go down after one orange punch, but he did go down after a second one. And after that second orange punch, OC pinned Shibata to retain the All-Atlantic Championship. I knew Shibata wouldn't win it, but I didn't think he'd get pinned his first.
I really wanted Shibata to win this match.
I mean, like, here's the thing. It would have been fucking crazy.
Yeah, talking about the legacy of the All-Atlantic title. Oh, who's the third champion? Shibata. Yeah. I thought that would have been cool. It wasn't in the works. I really did enjoy the match. I've always enjoyed Shibata wrestling, and I just thought this match, they worked really well together. A couple of the DDTs, I was like, oh, because, the problem with his head, and it was just like I had the hesitation moments, and no, it was a really cool, really worked match, or well-worked match. Orange Cassidy won, but yeah, I'm like, I was on the edge of my seat really hoping Shibata won.
No kidding, man. No kidding. But it was a hell of a way to open Rampage. We then had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter teaming up to face Madison Rayne and Sky Blue. Always like it when we get to see Sky Blue involved, because I do think she's one of those young talents that could probably rising up in AEW's women's division as time goes on. Always good to see Madison Rayne, of course. And yeah, this match was solid enough. Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker were working solidly against each other as tag teams and stuff like that. And Jamie Hayter would be the one to get the pinfall victory as she pinned Madison Rayne and won the match for Britt Baker and herself. Continuing to showcase how she's been performing over time. They kept beating up on Madison Sky until Toni Storm comes out and clears out. And then they keep fighting her and Jamie Hayter until eventually Jamie Hayter is put into a Texas Cloverleaf until Britt Baker comes in and has the women's championship and nails Toni in the head with it to save Jamie Hayter. So, yeah, I thought this was good enough. I thought this was good work from these girls. I thought there wasn't anything too outstanding from it, but I thought it was good, and I thought it was good to get a little bit more heat with Toni Storm, with Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, I'm all about me some Jamie Hayter, and I was about the Toni Storm. This whole rivalry is great. The tag match, I think Sky Blue is a perfectly acceptable professional wrestler, and I think she's growing. And I love how they're doing it because it's slow. You're seeing a new move every now and then. She gets a little better, and it's just like when you're really like, when in a year, maybe two, when they really try to put something behind her, she is going to be ready because she's getting the reps. She's, like Sky Blue is probably one of the more consistently booked young people in AEW as far as if you watch Dark and Dark Elevation. She's always on there. She's always working. So, it does seem like they believe in her being the future. I thought this match was good. And, it was all about what happened after the match, setting up Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. It's going to be fun. And it's just like, the best thing about it, they're doing the former friends thing, but honestly, it feels the most like in women's wrestling, just two good women's wrestling thinking they're better than women's wrestlers thinking they're better than each other. And I love a good match where it's just like, I just think I'm better than you.
Yeah, no kidding about it. It's just, and Britt Baker is one of those wrestlers who does that so well, I feel like.
Yeah.
That I think it just could be like this feud is look like it has the chance to do some really great stuff. So I'm excited to see what happens. We then had a promo from Absolute Ricky Starks, and I am all here for Ricky Starks cutting promos because this dude kills it on the mic. He talks about how y'all want to see me on TV, and I never had to beg because, well, you know that I'm good. I don't have to tell you that, though. You like me because I do the pose and everything. And he's like, yeah, I like you guys too. And he's put in the work, and people have questions about him, but he has the answer because there's this new Eliminator tournament to face Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. And he says he's entering himself into that Eliminator tournament. And he said, look, there are people who are proud to be part of these pillars for AEW, but how can they be proud when the place is crumbling? So he says, I'm walking in full gear as Ricky Starks, and I'm walking out as the new number one contender for the AEW World Championship. And whether it's Jon Moxley or MJF, I deal in defiance because I am Absolute Ricky Starks. And I'm like, cool, great work. I'm glad that Ricky is trying to get himself involved in all this because I think in terms of a guy who could be a hell of a feud or be a hell of a person to go up against. Ricky has done a lot of great stuff, and I'm for it, dude. I think it's great hearing him cut promos like he does. Though I would be saying, like, him and MJF is the more interesting thing to me. I think him and Moxley would be interesting, but I want to see Ricky and MJF bounce off of each other.
Yeah, because Ricky is really good on the mic, and he's really good with the snappy comeback. So I think he'd have some stuff for MJF. And if at that time, if MJF happens to be the champion, you know, you're looking at his first first feud being with a very face Ricky Starks, and I think that's a great first challenge for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Main event time, we have War Joe with Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor TV champion, and TNT champion Wardlow facing the Gates of Anarchy with Khan and Toa Leona. And I can firmly say I don't care. There's the thing. I have to say, the Gates of Anarchy, like, that is, we're pretty, like, we know that this is a Ring of Honor group, and it's all that kind of stuff. And there was actually one sign I saw, I will mention, because I wanted to bring this up to Floyd. There was one sign I saw on Dynamite last week, which I saw less ROH, more AEW, with the people that are kind of a little bit upset about some of the stuff that's been happening since the Ring of Honor acquisition by Tony Khan, about how he's trying to get Ring of Honor involved with AEW, and seemingly some fans don't want Ring of Honor involved. They want AEW and Ring of Honor to be two separate things, which I think is where they're going with it to begin with. But you got to get TV eventually. That's just what has to happen eventually. And that's when you can have them separate for the most part. But the Gates of Anarchy, I don't care. The Gates of Anarchy are just like the most... I don't care. Like, this match was fine. It was a nice win for War Joe, who keeps doing great stuff together. I don't care. Like, it was like, I saw this and I was just like, you know, I know what it is. This was a Rampage match for sure. You saw it, and like, hell, this could have been a dark match if we're being honest, like a dark elevation match. But yeah, it's just like that group specifically. I just don't see the purpose of it. I think the Gates of Anarchy have nothing going for them. They have no heat. They have no they got nothing going for them. And I feel like there's got to be at least a little bit of star power in that group for you to be able to fully be like, okay, let's go. And like, listen, Brian Cage is not enough. I will tell you right now, Brian Cage is not enough.
So, out the two people, Samoan, forgot what they're called, werewolf or lion or whatever animal he is. Yeah, both of them are really short. Like I look at the one with the braids and the rip. I forget his name. I literally don't care most of the time.
I couldn't tell you.
Khan. If he was 5 inches taller, dude, I'd be pushing him to the moon. But he's just like, they're supposed to be like this, you know, like Authors of Pain type, like physical group, but they're both so short. And it's just like, I can't buy it. I'd rather you literally go get the Authors of Pain and have them in this faction. No disrespect to either. Well, it's going to come off disrespectful no matter what, because they do nothing for me. They, like, literally do nothing for me. They make me not care about a FTR match.
I don't know how that's even possible.
Didn't care at all. They're not very good. They're just not. They're not very good at wrestling. Like, when I watch them, I'm ready for it to be over. I wouldn't even call it go away heat. I'm just ready for it to be over. Like I said, they do nothing for me. Brian Cage is clearly the star of that group because the other two people aren't stars, so that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think they, you know what's so crazy? They've hardly done anything, and I think they've already reached their ceiling.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I think they're as good as they're going to be. So, I don't know. So, yeah, Rampage.
That was Rampage. Yep. So we'll call that for last week's AEW. We'll go quickly into the preview for Boston's Dynamite that takes place tonight. We're gonna have Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter. So we get to see Sky Blue on Dynamite. Shout out. Dr. Britt Baker and Saraya will go face to face. We're gonna hear from Jon Moxley and MJF in two separate things. An Eliminator tournament opening round for the AEW World Championship. We're having Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page. Hell yes. And this happened on Rampage, actually. Sammy Guevara challenged Bryan Danielson to a 2 out of 3 falls match. So very interested to see how that goes. And I'm excited to see how these two do in this match. And then we get the Acclaimed and FTR teaming up to face Swerve in Our Glory and the Gun Club in an 8-man tag match, which I'm not a fan of 8-man tags, but AEW has always pulled through for those types of matches. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how that turns out.
This is the FTR match I actually do care about, so that's good. Now, I'm really excited because they are literally the two most popular teams in AEW. Like, they might even be the two most popular acts in AEW as far as the Acclaimed and FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory and the Gun Club, which is hilarious because 3 of the 4 of them are heels. It's like Keith Lee is this is a lone face, like, oh, don't cheat. You know, it's like gonna fall on deaf ears. Eddie Kingston and Ethan Page, if you get a chance, you hear this before the show, go ahead and watch the Road 2 episode because they really built up their matches not liking each other, and that's really good. And they've had some words on Twitter in the last few months, so it even works better. So that's good. You know, I want to see what what Saraya has to do, and if they can execute this well. Because as far as heat going into a pay-per-view, man, if they want to, they can make this scorching hot if they want to. You know, if they really, if they really hit a home run on this segment, I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on Saraya and Britt Baker to make people want to see this match, because I want to see the match. You want to see the match, but we do an AEW podcast, right? So we were kind of want to go to see this match before. So make the person that hasn't seen Paige wrestle, or not that familiar with Britt Baker, like, give me something memorable that I can throw in a GIF or a little video and post online to make other people want to see you wrestle. You know what I mean? I just think there's a lot riding on this segment. As far as Saraya says she's here to build something. She's here to get the eyes on the product. I mean, again, I know she doesn't listen to the show, but tomorrow's like, you've had a lot of stuff come up and it's been all okay, but tomorrow is step up time. It is put some asses in seats, sell some pay-per-views tomorrow night.
Right, absolutely. So I'm very excited to see how this Dynamite comes out. And then we also have on Rampage the matches that were announced: Roosh versus Bandito, Brian Cage versus Dante Martin, and Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks.
Yes. So in case I did not put this on the notes, I should have. That is the rest of round 1 of the Eliminator tournament opening round. So Roosh and Bandito is on the same side as Eddie Kingston and Ethan Page. That's on the left side. On the right side, you have Lance Archer and Ricky Starks, and then Brian Cage and Dante Martin. All 3 of these matches are going to happen on Rampage, and the end of the first round will be done, and they'll probably do the semifinals next week on Dynamite. So, do you have a prediction on who you see winning it? Do you think it's going to be Ricky?
That would be my guess, personally. Ricky would be my guess, just because, he's got the guy that would be, like, the more entertaining, I feel like, for a feud. And then, if he loses, it doesn't hurt him too much, I feel like. So I would probably go Ricky. I'm
going to go out on a limb. I've been thinking about this all week. I'm going to go out on a limb. Bandito. And I'm raising the stakes. If Bandito wins, we are going to do $100 Shop AEW gift card giveaway.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. Bandito. So everybody that listens to the show is going to root for Bandito. Money where my mouth is all the time. Boom. Bandito wins the tournament. I'm doing a giveaway. Because I just think you just signed him. You got Roosh to begin with. It's like, then you got Ethan Page and, Eddie Kingston. You could go Bandito versus Ricky Starks in the finals or whatever. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to go with Bandito to win it all.
All right.
So now y'all can hope I spoil it.
Yeah, now you got to hope that the predictions are right.
Yes. No.
But that was AEW, our previews for AEW this week. Finally, before we go, we have a couple headlines that we want to go through real quick to close things out with your news in AEW.
Well, I said this earlier, but FTR won their tag match over the weekend at, I think it was called Autumn Showdown. It was a weird name. Battle Autumn 22. They beat Great O'Connor and Jeff Cobb. And they then were cutting a promo after the show, and they got basically ran up on by United Empire, and there was some smack talk, and they tried to share a beer with them, and then they gave them the finger. So United Empire then said they're going to win the tournament, which is called the World Tag League, and they're going to win the World Tag League because the winner of the World Tag League gets a title shot against FTR at Wrestle Kingdom. So, I personally, if you want to do United Empire again, I would not mind that. What is it? Lance Archer is going to be in the Global Tag League with Minoru Suzuki as his tag team partner. So you could get that. So there's a lot of different results there. But that's really all the news that I got this week. Of course, I forgot Jeff Jarrett's actual title. I did want to go over that. His actual title. It's like Global Brand. Let's see. Hold on just a second. This is what happens when you don't write things down. But Jeff Jarrett has, a title. And that's kind of cool for him. But I truly believe it's going to be like you're going to see the expanded role of Jeff Jarrett as far as AEW and him bringing it. The role is the AEW Director of Business Development. So that sounds like a big name. Hopefully they'll be adding more shows soon. So so Austin having technical difficulties again. So I am going to actually close this out. Make sure you are listening to our fine show on the Red Circle or whatever podcast app that you have, iPhone, Android, we're everywhere. Make sure you're following me at Floyd Johnson Jr. or at Austin Sumowitz. That's SZUMOWICZ. And you can follow us, especially if we end up doing the giveaway, at AT Elite Pod on Twitter. We've had a mostly, one show without incident. So I will take that for you. So for Mr. Austin Sumowitz, I am Floyd Johnson, and I will leave you like I always leave you. Be nice to each other. Buy everyone lots of presents for Christmas if you can afford it. If you can't, you can be nice. That's free. Love everybody. Tell them how you feel about them. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do to make somebody feel special. This is the time of year to do it. And with that, leave you as I always leave you. Whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.
Peloton, let's go.
This holiday, with the right music and the right motivation from world-class instructors,
we're going to pick it up a notch. It's the holiday season.
You might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of. Work out to thousands of live and on-demand classes, from running to cycling to yoga. Try Peloton risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial. Peloton, motivation that moves you.
If there's anything we've learned in recent years, it's that bringing friends and family together is what life is all about. And what better time to gather than the holidays. But when your home is the hosting destination, you're going to need a little more room for your guests. Maybe you're thinking about finally upgrading your guest room mattress. Or maybe you need a new sofa sectional to fit your space. No matter what you're looking for, Ashley has everything you need. Visit your local Ashley or shop online at ashley.com.